Today's keynote speaker is Dr. David Bauer, UNK Professor of Music and Director of Choirs for the past 35 years. People who know David know he is passionate about music, passionate about education, and passionate about students. Colleagues say that he wears that passion on his sleeve for the world to see, and I think that's exactly right. There's never any doubt about his enthusiasm. Dr. Bauer grew up on a dairy farm along the Republican River in northern Kansas. He played the piano, sang in church as a young boy, often accompanied by his parents. After high school, he attended Fort Hays on a vocal music scholarship, and that's where he met his wife, Ann. He pursued a brief collegiate wrestling career, brief only because of being shortened by injury, but that is when he found his calling as an educator. He earned his Bachelor's of Music Education there and went on to earn a Master's of Music Education from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, the Conservatory of Music and Dance, and then his Doctorate of Education from Arizona State University. His career includes teaching at several high schools in Kansas, a graduate assistantship at Arizona State. He served as the Director of Choral Activities at Northern State University in South Dakota, and since 1984, his work here at UNK. His students have performed for President Bill Clinton during his visit here in 2000. They've performed at Carnegie Hall and at the Mormon Tabernacle. They have toured all over Europe, Brazil, and Argentina under his leadership. His reward is always coming from students, according to him. Beyond campus and the classroom, David and Ann volunteer together at Kearney First United Methodist Church, where he has directed the Chancel choir since 1986, and she has been the organist there since 1984. He also directs the Platte River Singers, works with high school area choirs, organizes an All-State Choral Camp each summer, and is heavily involved with the annual honor band and choral clinics. David and Ann have 5 children. 3 of them have attended UNK, and they've joined their dad's choir. 16 grandchildren, 4 of them have sung at UNK, and 1 great-grandchild, who I hope will have a Loper shirt someday, Professor. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Professor David Bauer. Welcome.
If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody that he's traveling wrong, then my living shall not be in vain. Good morning, class of summer 2019, hailing from 22 states and 6 countries. Chancellor Christensen, this is a surreal moment for me because, number one, I'm not sure I'm worthy to stand here, but also because as a conductor, the audience only sees my backside. I grew up on a dairy farm, village of Broughton, Kansas. I loved everything about farm life. The smell of new mown alfalfa, the cry of a newborn calf, seeing our winter pasture awaken to a blanket of green. I assumed I would be a farmer. But then the Army Corps of Engineers came to our door to inform us that they were taking our land, purchasing our land, for the Milford Dam. In 1962, my father asked me if I wanted to give college a try. I'm quite sure I replied, not really. That was not in my thought process. However, the seed had been planted. and that question began to germinate in my mind. Even though I loved competitive sports, I knew that if I went to college, I would major in music, because as a choir member or soloist, singing was always such an incredibly visceral feeling. My high school choir director helped me schedule an audition at Fort Hays, a school of 2,300 students at that time with a fine music program. I auditioned, and I received a $100 scholarship. Don't laugh. That paid for 15 credit hours and all my books, fall 1963. True story. I became a first-generation college student whose parents understood the value of education even though they had never gone to college. Not once did they ask what my GPA was. No undue pressure needed. And frankly, I had a lot of growing up to do at that time. It took me longer than one semester to actually realize that the classroom required many hours of careful attention to detail and techniques. What a difference it makes in one's life to actually have a goal and a plan to reach it. Grades improved significantly. My voice began to sing freely, and the best part of all, I met a music transfer student, Anne, who has now been my wife for the past 51 years. During my final year of undergraduate school, I took Western civilization, taught by Mr. Helmut Schmuler. To this day, I recall when he brought his 3-foot-long oak pointer stick down hard on a map of the English Channel, turned to us and said, "This is why you are not blue-eyed and blonde-haired." Holy smoke. Then a photograph appeared on a screen showing young boys walking in front of the German tanks. He circled the one boy and said, "This was me." As a child, he had been taken from his family by the SS to be in Hitler's youth organization. History became real, and I began to read a lot. I have now visited many of the places Mr. Schmuler spoke of. I've discovered that one can read about history of war and the atrocities of war, but for example, when one physically stands above Omaha Beach in the American cemetery and looks upon row of white crosses, you can hardly breathe, nor hold back the tears. I have now visited 30 different countries, several of them numerous times. Please know that mankind worldwide has dreams and aspirations just like yours and mine. However, many people continue to live in countries where their career choices and opportunities are extremely limited. Do you really know how fortunate you are to have been born when and where you were born? To live in a country that allows you the freedom to seek the degree of your choice, a choice that can, in a real way, strengthen you and ultimately the world. Open your eyes to this moment in which you have been blessed to experience. You may think 2019 is a year of much political controversy, threatening postures, shootings, climate change, uncertainty. May I take you back to the year I graduated from college, 1968, the year of the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy, the stifling ugliness of apartheid in South Africa separated races. The Iron Curtain divided Europe. Horrid race relations existed across our nation. The news reported daily body counts, deaths of soldiers on both sides in Vietnam, like a box score. I speak of this because with the uncertainty you may feel in today's world, each generation has also faced these things. Thus, the uncertainty you may feel does not give you the right to be complacent. The passion you have exhibited to obtain your degree must remain brightly lit throughout your lifetime. Continually raise your bar of higher expectations, knowing that you can always improve whatever it is you are doing. Complacency, as well as arrogance, is a shortcoming that hurts you, your community, and our nation. Stay humble and get into the habit of saying something kind to someone every day. I came to Kearney 35 years ago and found students who could understand my insatiable desire to achieve beauty in the arts. Students, however, have come to know me not only as a choir director, but as a wrestling official, baseball and softball umpire, a gardener, keeper of birds, photographer, and someone who has planted a forest near Kearney. I did and still do these things because they are all a part of who I am. I love music, competitive sports, people, the University of Nebraska Kearney. I love life. Don't you? The university afforded our choir the opportunity to perform in Europe, South America, sing for President Clinton, sing at Carnegie Hall, the Mormon Tabernacle, the Orpheum with the Omaha Symphony, and the lead with Lincoln Symphony. I had the privilege of conducting 2 concerts per semester for 35 years with 4 choirs, and countless outreach concerts intended to recruit to UNK. When you leave here today, celebrate. You are to be congratulated, but know that as diligently as you have worked to achieve this degree, you must work even more diligently to uplift and instill excellence in your world. There will be days when you may feel discouraged, but discover that bridge over troubled water and alter that which you are doing without eliminating those things important to your endeavors. Fight for what you believe should be. Continue to set goals and work to make them a reality. Former students of this university are doing great things throughout the world. Now, let your expertise contribute to our global community. Make certain there is time in every day to communicate and to show your gratefulness for family and friends. I know that I would not be here today were it not for a supportive wife, children, and parents, as well as former students and teachers along the way. It truly takes a village to raise each of us. May your life be rich with meaning, compassionate, caring, and loving. May you be a leader in building cultural sensitivity and empathy, a purveyor of grace, kindness, encouragement, and inspiration. Never lose sight of the good things that happen every day in this world. Reach for your potential, make your life extraordinary, and remember, class of summer 2019, If we can bring back beauty to a world that's rot, if we can cheer somebody with a word or song, if we can help somebody as we pass along, then our living shall not be in vain. Blessings.